Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, back on F1 2019, and it's been a while since we've had a league race because I actually had a break week after the last one I did, which was at Monza, which was probably, again, one of the best drives that I've ever done. If you haven't watched that, please check that out. I think it's called the Ultimate Comeback Drive. But we arrive at Singapore, as I said, after a 2-week break, leading the championship by 25 points. Actually 26 points from Jam Pancakes, got fastest lap last time. And I think 31 points from ERL Viper. So we arrive at Singapore. And this track, I don't think is a secret. It's probably one of my best tracks on the game. And you can see we went through Q1 pretty comfortably. And now this is my Q2 lap. And you really, well, not really, you have to start on medium tyres if you want to do an easy one stop. You could still do softs, but normally the mediums are just going to be so much of a better race tyre for you. And yeah, as I said, I was feeling really good, driving the best I've ever done in practice coming to this. I think I did like a 33.5, which is a very, very quick time. And on the mediums, my PB was a 34.3, something like that. So I was feeling very excited. Obviously, quite nervous because obviously I'm leading the championship and I desperately want to win it. I really, really do want to win it. It's been a lot of highs and lows this season so far, and I know the likes of Pancakes and Viper, they're two really, really talented drivers, so I'm not underestimating anyone at all, although this should be a track that is definitely more in favour of the wheel, not only due to the nature but due to the tyre temp issues and the tyre wear issues. But so far on this lap, it's not a good lap at all. I was really not happy with this, and no, looking at it, you might think it looks pretty good, neat and tidy, but when I'm actually driving it, it's just one of those cases again, which I've had quite a few times this season now. It's just no commitment really, and yeah, I couldn't afford to invalidate this because I thought the 35.0 was not going to be quick enough, but we come across the line, do PB last sector,
really bad,
but yeah, as I said there, 34.9, and that's quite easily probably the slowest time I've done on mediums, even throughout the whole practice. Normally I was always doing a 0.6, maybe a 0.7 on a very bad lap, but a PB of a 0.3 to be 6 tenths away. I was really disappointed with that. But now going to Q3, you can see at the beginning of that it's actually raining after 5 minutes. So I really need to get out as soon as I can. But the bad thing about being in Mercedes, the only two bad things about being in Mercedes, is that you are first in the pit lane. So if you want to get out quickly, you're going to be one of the last cars on track. And also when you're actually coming into the pits, there's a very good chance you'll probably go get held by another car if they're within the 3 to 4 second range. But you can see now it has already started to rain, and a lot of cars have gone out on track, actually been jumped by Williams as well. But Jam Pancakes, something I failed to mention, his AI, although he got through into Q3, his AI crashed when he retired from the sessions. That means he is not taking part in the sessions, so he will definitely 100% be starting in 10th place. So we have to maximise on this. Really do have to maximise this. So it's very similar to Monaco in that qualifying session. We're only going to have one opportunity now because it's wet, and it's probably going to go to intermediates quite quickly. But at this point, I should have been thinking, you know what, just get through turn 1 because that's the easiest corner to invalidate. That's what I should have been thinking. But going through turn 1, you can see I didn't take that advice.
Oh my days, man.
And that is the lap completely over. And unless someone else invalidates or crashes or something, we're going to be starting in P9, where we had the perfect opportunity to put so many cars between myself and my championship rival. ERL Viper isn't even turning up to this race. He had something, commitment that he couldn't do. And you can see now, I tried to do another lap on the soft tyres because I thought it would be quick enough. The reason why I didn't go in the Inters is because the Inters... No, I think everyone's quickest time was, what was it? No, a 40.5. But on intermediates, the quickest you normally do is like a 50. So I thought there was no point doing that. So that means we're going to start P9 with my rival right behind me. And at a track like Singapore, it is notoriously difficult to overtake.
Pancakes
and
probably get me off the start.
I was really, really angry at
really
myself,
good
to be
traction
honest. Just a really stupid mistake, and just wasn't needed. Really wasn't needed. But we have 4 lights, 5 lights. I'm waiting for them to go out. And let's see if we get a good start. We'll try and get as good a start as possible. We've got a very, very good start. Pancakes gets an even better start. I try and go around the outside because I know now that in leads laps, these are the laps I have to make count as we're going around the outside of KJ Gamer. So we actually made up 1 position here and sorted out ahead of him. And my Pancakes is still into P10. So now I'm going to try and get as good exit as I possibly can. The Williams of Leftive and the McLaren of Danny F31. This is another opportunity, so we're going to try and make it 3 wide. Going into the end of Sector 1, I have to pick my braking point very carefully, try not to make any contact with them, which I don't. And now I've got KJ Gamer going back down my inside here, trying to go around the outside of him. It's 2 abreast, two abreast going into here. I try and get the move done, but he holds it around the outside. And again, it is almost going 3 wide into this chicane, and this is not what I need at this point in the championship. This is my absolute worst nightmare. I've got Jam Pancakes right behind me as well, and with these guys holding each other, I try and go around the outside again because I'm so desperate to get ahead of at least one of these cars, put a car between myself and the Williams, and now he has got a very, very good run on me, so I have to go semi-defensive. He tries to go around the outside, fails to do it, and that's what I was saying there. This is a nightmare scenario for me because I can't afford to get any damage. If you get damage, you're going to be about half a second lap slower. You're going to have an extra 5-second pit stop. And this track, no, you can overtake, but if someone's got a slipstream or DRS on the car ahead of you, it's going to be next to impossible. And right now, because of the mistake I made in qualifying, where I really should have just got through that first corner instead of trying to go through it quickly, I should have just got through it like I did at Monaco, where we only had 1 lap before it rained. I should have done exactly the same there. But the problem is, and you can see moving on to the end of lap 5, we haven't been able to make up any positions because it is just so hard to do that. If they've got DRS on the car ahead, there's only really, I'd say, 1 or 2 opportunities that you can overtake around this track. And no, the lap time we're doing now is, I think, like a 140.3. Whereas in practice, I think I even posted it before the race, I was doing a 138.9, and then on average low 39s to mid 39s. So we're going well over a second a lap slower, and it doesn't matter if you feel you've got a lot more pace than someone else. As VRT Ryan has actually left the session, he's actually a car ahead who's in a really good position here, so that's very unfortunate for him, but that does gift me a position along with Jam Pancakes as well. So we moved up into P8. But we've just got a traffic jam ahead of us now, and to do this on the road, no, this is not a good position for me, and I was extremely frustrated at the time here because there's just nothing I can do. I'm literally just completely stuck here. Unless they make a huge mistake, it's going to be very, very hard to do positions. And originally my strategy was to go to about lap 10. Although the hards can do pretty much the whole race, it makes quite a big difference if you actually pit early, and because there is quite a lot of wear towards the end of the race. And right now I'm really at danger to being undercutted by Jam Pancakes. He could potentially undercut me, get track position, and although I could be much faster, there might be no way past. So right now I'm thinking, do I pit this lap or do I just try and overcut these drivers? Because I felt, since I've been going so slow, that there might still be life in these tyres as well. So we come towards the last corner, but we dart in the pits at the last minute, and I've actually decided to actually be reactive instead of just waiting for something to happen. I'm actually going to put it into my own hands, and I'm going to go for the undercut. I have to make up positions here, and I knew my tyres would be pretty bad towards the end of the race, considering I'm pitting this early. But I thought I had no choice. If I want to, the chances of winning this race are quite slim now, but if I want to put as many cars as possible between myself and Jam Pancakes, I had quite a few cars straight ahead of me, about 4 cars ahead of me. I had to do this, and although it was pretty early for a pit stop, you can see I'm in dead last position. I'm the first person going to the pits, which is very unusual for me. I have to do this. I have to do something, otherwise I'm just going to be completely stuck in this position. So coming across the line, let's see if we made any somewhat of an undercut. As you can see, there's a lot of cars coming out of here. So we've made up one position. Now another position, going around the outside of, I don't know who that is, Danny F31. And we have actually made up 3 positions because of that, I think, if I am right. We have made up 3 positions there, which was really, really good. So far, the undercut has been quite powerful and pretty successful. And that could be absolutely crucial to my championship. Although I have a lead in this championship, all it takes is 1 DNF. And then it's right back in it again. I can't afford for that to happen. I need to, if I can't win this race, I need to maximize the points that I have available to me. And now we have VRT lefted, the car ahead of me who's stuck behind. I think that is Ryan, and I think that, unfortunately, that is his AI car, and he's already out of this race. But we're going to move on board with Jam Pancakes here. And no, this is quite interesting because he hasn't pitted yet. He decided to go for the overcut as well. And we're going to see him coming to the pits here. You can see, getting a little bit of advice from someone in the party chat. So he goes through this last corner and just cuts across the pit lane. And he doesn't get a warning from the game or anything. And, you know, that could... No, I won't really say too much on that. But, no, that could really help him out here. Because he knows himself of how crucial track position is. You can see I'm coming through the... Well, just about to go into the last corner now. And let's see him coming out of the pits, because I think Danny F31 and Syke Zaney were very close to him before. I proved that the undercut was very powerful. And you can see he just goes straight back on the track. He doesn't follow the pit lane going around here, but moving back on board of me, I can't really focus on that, because right now I wasn't focused on that at all. I've got overkills out ahead of me, and I knew that this was the time I had to overtake him. If I didn't overtake him now, it was going to be extremely difficult to overtake him in the future. So I'm going to put up into overtake into Rich. We're going to go down the inside of him, and it's whoever blinks first going to his corner. I blink, well, not blink, I brake super late here. He goes a little bit off the track. I try and hold it around the outside of him and get the move done. Gets a little bit better traction going to this corner. His tyres are still warming up here, and that move was absolutely essential. If I didn't do it there, then he probably would have had the DRS on lefted up ahead of me. And at the moment, I think we have gained about 4 net positions so far. There's a few people who still haven't pitted, but if I can get past lefted, that would have been 5 people that I've effectively managed to jump. And no, that would be an extremely successful undercut if I could make that work. But going to the last corner now, I knew I had to try and be as close as possible, and I knew I had to overtake him as soon as possible, because, as I said before, even if you have a lot more pace than someone, the tyres towards the end of a race, you lose the benefit, and he would just be having so much better traction than me. So I knew I had to be so close to him going to his DRS straight and get the move done nice and early. And now, we're very close here, putting it up into overtake, into Rich. You can see I've massively underfueled the car, because I knew that's what it takes going around this track. Going down the inside, he's not really fighting. He's leaving quite a lot of room on the inside. We do take the racing line, leave him some room on the inside for this corner, and we get the move done. And again, I think that is 5 net positions that I've made in this race, all because of that undercut has put me in this kind of position. Otherwise, if I didn't do this, I would be behind all those cars. And now we're cruising up to the back of Alex Daegu, who I think has disconnected, or I don't know if he has disconnected, but his connection seems to be very bad. And
so much.
Since we overtook lefted, we actually managed to pull out a little bit of a gap to him out of the DRS zone. Again, the Ferrari just spins round, and that could have been a lot worse than it was. Now we've got that move done, and now all we have to wait for is a few of the guys who haven't pitted so far in this race. In terms of the leaders, I think they are way off in the distance, BMG Hawks, as we are coming in the middle of lap 14 now, catching up to a couple more people, got to go fast, and the Red Bull. And I think both of these guys haven't pitted yet so far in this race. So this is really not kind of a position, but the McLaren very nicely lets me go. He doesn't need to do that, but understands that he is not quite in the same battle, and that definitely makes my life easier. But because the Ferrari actually spun out, it actually allowed overkills to get back in my DRS zone. So again, I need to try and get this move done here and make sure I get a car between myself and the person who's battling for me for a position behind. getting a good exit onto here, DRS straight, and again, I think this should be pretty easy. So we're going to go take the racing line, and I don't think he is going to make it too difficult. Not as easy as the McLaren, but I get them moved done pretty nicely, and he hasn't actually let past overkills. So this again is a new opportunity for me to break up that gap, because I knew I had to do this, because I think pit end of lap 6 is very, very early for these tyres, so I knew I would really be struggling. No, ideally I wanted to pit 4 laps later in this, but I was forced into strategy. I had to make this kind of decision, otherwise I knew that I was very susceptible to the undercut from my championship rival Jam Pancakes. I couldn't afford for that to happen, and I also benefited from an undercut at the same time. So you can see the gap is about 4 seconds ahead, and you can see we ended up actually pulling out of the DRS zone, and now we'll go look at the laps. 1:39.9, the gap is about 3.9 seconds, 2.1 behind, and we slowly started to catch the lead group. And you can see another few temps that lap, and another few temps we had pulled away behind. And now at this stage in the race, although I am on older tyres, the benefit of newer tyres wouldn't really come into effect at this stage. And you can see right now, starting to flex the pace that I knew I had coming into practice. Ideally, I wanted to be hitting mid 39s towards throughout most of the stint, but pitting this early has not enabled me to do that. But right now, making quite good progress and slowly started to eat in on the gap up ahead of me. You can see we've actually closed it by a second, from 4.3 to 3.1, over 3 seconds behind. And now right now it's working pretty nicely, but you can see in this lap 3.2, and I think we gained a little bit of time on the car behind as well. But this was the stage where the tyres started to give up, unfortunately. And I think having been behind quite a few cars as well, and you can hear me say about the tyres, I started to feel the tyres were just not having as good traction, and they were starting to fade very, very slowly. You can see now the gap is actually starting to go up, and I'm no longer catching the car ahead of me. And I think Overkills is actually starting to come under a little bit of pressure from JJ Rocks, who is on the medium tyres. I'm doing the complete different strategy. You can see the gap up ahead now has gone back up to 4.3. So we had a stage where we were using the tyres pretty nicely, showing the real pace. But towards the end of the race, I couldn't close in on the lead group, but I managed to pull away from the cars behind. And going across the line, we come home in P4 in this race, where the first stint was a little bit eventful, but overall, not really too much happened that race. And you can see by the result here, although we got P4 from P9, which is very good, Jam Pancakes, because of people having penalties in front of him, actually came P5 in that race, which means we only gained 2 points in him. But something I have to mention here now, he actually did get a penalty for that incident he had in the pit lane, because the stewards felt that he gained time going in, and because he didn't follow the pit lane line going round, he actually maintained position of 2 cars, which meant he got given a time penalty, which meant he is demoted to P6, which now means I lead the championship by 29 points going into Suzuka, where we are going live tomorrow night, and Viper is now 43 points behind. So I still have a chance. Well, I definitely have a chance in this championship. I have a chance to actually win the championship tomorrow night at Suzuka. If he doesn't get any points and I win the race, then I could win this championship. A very frustrating race. I felt I should have really been starting a lot higher than that, where arguably we could have been fighting for the win, but BMG Hawk shows excellent pace today. Well done to Dylan and JKB as well. But overall, a pretty frustrating race. The only benefit is I did gain some points on my rival, but it is what it is. You've got to learn from those things. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will catch you soon. Peace.